webinar today, and then you can treasure it for all times. You can fast forward, rewind, go to minute 5:30, and watch whatever you need to as far as Flipgrid. Just by a show of hands and whatnot, or typing in the chat, how many of you have used Flipgrid before? So only a couple. Okay, Joel's used it, Jessica's used it, and probably a lot of you haven't used it. It's actually been around for a few years. It was named one of the top ed tech and education tools in 2017, and it is one of the top tools for a couple different reasons. It's really easy to use, and it allows for really great video discussion when you don't want to have face-to-face discussions. Obviously, during this time we can't. Just because the nature of this training involves recording video, if you will mute your mics until you have a question, that'd be great. So then we don't get like feedback from other people. And so go ahead and mute your mics real quick if you haven't already. I might beat you to it because I'm the one that is in charge of this webinar. So I might just mute you. That might be easier and quicker. All right, excellent. Cool. We're going to get started, and to simply get started with Flipgrid, all you're going to do is go to Flipgrid. You can Google it or go to flipgrid.com. They have done a good job of just keeping their website address really simple. Flipgrid is actually a free website, free application made by Microsoft for teachers. So it's completely free to you. You have all the unlimited features. You don't need to worry about data collection or mining. It's a very safe website. They don't do any of that type of shady stuff where they take your information and give it out. They don't do that to you. They don't do that to your students. It is a really great program with educators in mind. And it's really simple to sign up. All you would need to do is click on Educator Sign Up and go through the process. And I've already signed up because I don't have that kind of startup for you, but it's really easy to kind of push through and sign in with your school account. And when you are done with that, you have a plethora of resources and features for you to kind of use. I'm going to start off simple by just showing you what Flipgrid is. So I'm going to use an example that I use for a college course that I teach. And it's about family engagement and whatnot, but I'm going to use that as an example just to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go to the actual Flipgrid, and this is what it would look like for students that use Flipgrid. That's Iron Man, that's not actually me, but the whole preface of Flipgrid is you have a question. And I always put the question in text form. And this question specifically is about a chapter and if it was helpful and whatnot. I actually assign some points to it and tell students what they should do for the response. And with Flipgrid, with every question you're able to ask, you can add an actual video of you asking the question.
So what was most helpful as far as information from chapter 4? Why was it helpful, and how do you see yourself using it to increase engagement in your classroom? If it wasn't helpful, explain why. Be honest. That's
okay. So I'm not going to show the whole thing, but it's me asking the question, and students, when they go to a page like this, they read the question and then they hear the video of me asking the question. The extra element that's added for video is really powerful because it personalizes their discussion with you. It allows them to see you in this time when they really can't have that teacher presence with them. Now, after students have read the question, have watched me kind of explain what they need to do, all they need to do is respond by clicking a big green button. So when students go to this website, usually with a code, all they would need to do is click on this green button, and then they're allowed to record right now. And they have this big, you can't really miss it, this big camera button that allows them to record. So when they click on it, they can start recording. All right, my response to chapter 4 is I didn't find it helpful, and I don't think we should have read it. Honestly, chapter 3 was a lot better for reasons 1, 2, and 3, blah, 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 blah. And when they're done, they can click pause. There are a couple other options here for when students interact with Flipgrid. They have filters that they can choose to change what it looks like. You can turn these features on where you don't allow them to add in fun little things for their video if you don't want them to add them. But Flipgrid allows for engagement pieces like this so that you can kind of change the way your video looks. And when students are done with their response and they're ready, they can click that next button. All right, my response to chapter 4 is I kind of watch their own response. Well, this is really powerful where they can watch themselves kind of responding and listen to themselves to make sure that they sound okay. From here, they have the option to add more if they want, or to completely redo it. And they can do that by the X button, or they can click on add more. If they add more, you can see that you have the option to start recording again by just clicking on the video icon. But my video is fine. I'm okay with my response. I'm going to click next. All right, my response. And then next one more time. And with every Flipgrid video, when students respond, they have a chance to kind of add a preview, a fun selfie. This is another engagement piece. So I'm going to just do a fun selfie real quick, throw up the deuces, and then add some other engagement pieces just because Flipgrid is meant to be fun, and it's meant to add in the fun element and the engagement element for teachers. So I'm just going to have some deuces and sunglasses up and click next. And once a student is done recording a video, they can put a display name, title, my reaction to chapter 4. And they can even link in some evidence if they wanted. If they referred to something in their video and they thought, I'm going to link this in to help me prove my response, they can do that. So say I have this whole article about why chapter 4 is, that helps me explain why chapter 4 is not great. I can add it in and whatnot. So I'm just going to paste a URL right here. And by the way, that site is amazing. You should go to it, check it out if you haven't before. It's our EdTech website, and it's got amazing resources. It's a shameless plug, but I'll put it right in there. Then you can click submit if you're the user. And what it's going to do is it's going to congratulate you again, the element of fun and engagement for students. A lot of flashy things going on. And then you can click complete. And once you're done, it's going to take a little bit to load, but you can see that these are adult students and whatnot, so I can show their name and all that, but they look like they're having fun, right? So it's that element of engagement for people. Now, me as a student, since I just recorded that, you can see that my reaction goes on there once I refresh the page. So as the teacher, I can see the latest videos very quickly. Now, on the student end of things, I can actually respond to other students. So I can actually respond to my friend Kelsey's video because she's my friend, so I don't have a problem showing her video. If I click on her video, I can watch her response.
What I liked most about this chapter is just the fact that it had a wide variety of literature for each kind of family structure.
So I can watch her full response if I want to, and then I can reply to her response by just clicking a green message button and it says reply right there. I can click on it and totally respond to her video. Kelsey, I disagree with you. I thought chapter 4 was worthless, and all your reasons are incorrect because of A, B, C, and D. Her video. Kelsey, I disagree with you. I thought chapter 4 was worthless, and all your reasons are incorrect because of A, B, C, and D. And then, again, I go through all the different processes, and hopefully she doesn't get a notification that I sent that video. But anyway, you can see that it's very easy. My response appears right below here with a little icon that I took a picture of and another person's response. So I can actually see other people responding to her. So it can be a back and forth kind of discussion with students, where I think, especially during this time, it's very powerful because they don't have that face-to-face interaction with their classmates, and they don't have that face-to-face interaction with you. You can actually go in as the teacher view these videos and respond to your students. So it gives you a chance to kind of talk to them in a sense without actually being face-to-face. So that's what Flipgrid is on the front end. That's what students would see. And I decided to show you this just to show you what it actually was, because it seemed like a lot of you haven't experienced Flipgrid quite yet. What questions, concerns, or any type of wonderings do you have about Flipgrid now before I show you the back end of things? Jessica.
I have a, okay, so I've actually seen teachers use this with students with IEPs for practicing speeches, for different things like that, for listening to themselves back and forth again. And it could be really useful for your little ones as well. So just thinking through that, the kids that need the auditory version of things, it could be very helpful.
Definitely. Flipgrid has been used for a lot more than video discussion as well. Honestly, I've had teachers, and I've used in the past, book reviews where I've added as a topic, and I want them to kind of give me the maybe chapter 5 summary right there on Flipgrid, or short book review for younger kids. It works really well. I've had language teachers grade conversation this way. And I've had them have the ability to have conversations with other people and guests. They've had guest speakers and whatnot send videos and kind of lead that discussion. So it's really great for that foreign language teacher who wants that extra discussion piece. It's great for, like Jessica said, IEPs, where there's auditory and visual kind of elements to it that you wouldn't have with a kind of written discussion. There's a question about the video limit for students. I'm going to address that as we look at how to set one up. But are there any other questions pertaining to just how to use Flipgrid from the discussion side? Yes, you can pre-record a video. You have a lot of redos in Flipgrid. So what has happened to Flipgrid over the years is, since they've evolved as an education kind of sector of Microsoft, is it keeps getting better and better and better, and they put and consider educator feedback very well. So if there's something here that you don't see, that you see is missing, contact Flipgrid and they'll kind of take that into consideration. Okay, so hopefully I can answer some of your questions as I show you how to set one up. All right, so now we're going to go to this is Flipgrid from the teacher view when you log in and have set everything up. Yours is going to look similar to mine, except you're not going to have a lot of grids. And grids are where you house all of your discussion topics. As the teacher, when I want to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay in my grids, and it's selected right at the top, and it's going to bring me to this page. And for the most part, once you log in, it will always default and bring you to my grids first. This is just where all your video topics are going to exist. To start creating as a teacher, I'm going to go to this red button and click New Grid. And then now I have all the logistics for me to set up for my new grid. Let's say for this one, it's gonna be ELA second hour. It's gonna be my ELA second hour. That's the way I'm gonna want to set it up. Of course, you could always just put Mr. Bowie's 6th grade class. It's really however you want to organize it, you can kind of set up and decide for yourself. And that's really the first requirement, is the name for your grid. It's what students will see. The next option you have is to select the grid type. This is really important as far as access. If your students are old enough and can use email, I think in our consortium it's about 5th grade or so, if I'm correct, then this would be a great option for you if you are 5th on up. All you need to do if you are 5th on up, and I will discuss the younger kids too and how you would set that up for them, is click on school email. And once you do that, you have the option to create a flip code. This is the code students would use to get into my grid to access all the topics. And I can edit that. If I don't want Bowie 4528, I can change it to something else. I think it's pretty safe right now. It's pretty easy to use, so I'm going to leave it there. And then I'm going to click Next. Now, if you're using that email option, you have to put the last part of the email, so in order for your students to be able to access this Flipgrid. So I added at jcic.org. If you were at a different school, say you're at JPS or Northwest or Waldron or something like that, you would put the last part of that email in there so that your students could access it. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions about that? Okay, and once that happens, I can click next, and it's ready for me to go. I can start creating with this grid. I'm going to backtrack real quick and just show you the younger student side and how you would set that up. Okay, so I'm going to go to add grid again. That's how I start making my grid so I can house all my discussion topics. And then I'm going to put this as Mr. Bowie's grade class. And then what I'm going to do is I can't use the school email because of the way we've set things up. You'll click on student ID. And then you can change this up if you want. Maybe I'll just leave it at Bowie 8409. That's the blessing of having a short name, right? Okay. Then you'll press next. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put in the first and last name of your students and then give them a student ID. So say I'm going to put in CJ Walker. His ID will be Walker1. And he'll use that Walker1 ID to get into my Flipgrid so that he can participate. Now, if you have a CSV file, say you want to pull something from PowerSchool, or you have all your students on a Excel spreadsheet, you can upload that and fill it in for you, and that might be the faster way to do it. Or you can just quick enter your student's name in, add an ID for them, and then click next once your list is complete. The great thing about this is once you do it once, they're good for the rest of the year. So you only have to do it once. So it's not too time consuming because a one-time thing is all you need. I'm going to click next, and then you can see right here that CJ Walker's student ID is Walker1. When CJ tries to log into Flipgrid, he'll have to just use this Walker1 code to log in, and that's it. They'll be able to get into my Flipgrid using that code. So you can make it as short as you want, as long as you want. For the young kids, and so it's young 5 all the way to 4th grade, you have to make that code for them, and then you can launch the grid. You can see that Flipgrid integrates very well with something called Google Classroom. If you do use Google Classroom, you can share this right to Google Classroom, and your students can access your grid from Google Classroom. Super easy. I click on it. I can choose what class it goes into. I can choose where I want to put it, and then I can press go and do all the regular Google Classroom options if I wanted to, and it would appear right in Google Classroom as another assignment or whatever I designate it as. Any questions so far about Flipgrid? Okay, feel free to ask. I'll check the chat real quick. Can you, yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go to the grid right now and kind of explain how to add topics and start creating my Flipgrid topics for discussion. So I'm gonna go to my grid. And right now my grid is totally empty. Mr. Bowie's 2nd grade class doesn't have anything in it. When students go to the Flipgrid code and they use Bowie 8409, this is what's going to happen. They click on this little this link right here, and then they're going to have to type in their ID. So I could type in Walker1, and then I'm in. So I'm in as CJ right now. All I see is one different prompt, and I can start engaging in that prompt. So it's that easy for students to get into Flipgrid. All they have to do, I'll show you again one more time, is actually they go to flipgrid.com. Since I've set it up, they enter the code right here, which was Bowie 8409. And I already entered the code, so I'm set to go. If you use something like Seesaw or Flipgrid, it can bring them there even faster if you link it in to that grid. Okay, any questions about that before I start creating different topics? Okay, so I'm in my grid right now. This is going to house all my topics. Flipgrid automatically gives you a first topic just so that your students see something. It's usually a say hello in Flipgrid so that they can engage in it and whatnot. But I'm going to start adding my own topic. So the big red button right here, it says add new topic. I'm going to click on it. And then it's going to give me some logistics here. This is going to be the place where I edit and make my discussion topic really great for my students. So I'm going to put this as, what was your favorite part of our book? What was your favorite part? Is the title. And then the prompt is going to be, we just read your book. What was your favorite part? Use full sentences. Okay, now this is going to address the kind of limit that they have. I put my title as what was your favorite part. Maybe I can change that to the book, and we'll go with book 5. And then I add the question in the prompt. We just read a book. What was your favorite part? Use full sentences. I have the option now to limit the recording for them if I wanted to, or use the max amount of minutes. So the limit for each response is 10 minutes. Now, you might be asking yourself, only 10 minutes? Well, 10 minutes is a really long time, especially if you have 20 some odd students. Imagine watching 20 videos at 10 minutes. That's a little bit too much. I honestly like short and concise responses, so maybe I'll just give them a minute, maybe even just 45 seconds, because that kind of encourages them to be very complete, concise with their responses. The next option you have for your video topic is this video moderation. If you want it moderated, it'll be hidden from other students until you activate it. So this won't be there for them to see. If you see it right there, it'll be just hidden until you actually activate it. So I'm going to keep it activated just so that they can see it, and then that way they can engage in it right away. Now there's this focus option, and this is where you upload an additional video of yourself asking the question, or a stimuli video if you want. So you wanted a video of you just reading the book to them, and then they actually watch you reading it, and then they answer the prompt. You could do that, but to be short, I'm just going to click on that record a video option. Someone asked if you can upload your own video. Yes, you can. There's an upload video option there. You can add video from YouTube or Vimeo, images, GIFs, emojis, kind of name whatever you want. You can, for the most part, add it as a focal point for the video. But I'm just going to record my video. I'm going to record me asking the question to add that extra element of personalization. Okay. We just read Amazing Book 5. What did you think of it? What was your favorite part? Please use full sentences. You do only have 45 seconds, so make sure to really think about your answer. Again, I can add in these extra little fun things if I want. We just read Amazing Book 5. What did you think of it? What was your favorite part? Please use full sentences. And of course, we just read Amazing. If I click on it, I can actually crop the end and the beginning and make it shorter if there's a part in it I didn't like. So you do have the option to make the end or beginning shorter, and by clicking on the actual preview line there. And when you're satisfied with it, click confirm. We just read Amazing Book. And then next again. You can take a selfie. You always have to take a selfie in Flipgrid, so it's required. And of course, choose a good selfie, not like this one. But you're done. It's going to upload. It's going to give you flashy things to say congratulations. And your topic is complete with a focus now that your students can watch. Now that is at the very basic, the basic options. You don't have to do more than this if you don't want. But if you're a teacher who likes a little bit more control, you can click on more options. And once you click on more options, you have the option to add a tip. This is to help guide your students to get the best answer possible. I'll say, so maybe focus on the last page. Maybe I really want them to focus on the last page of the book or something like that. It'll appear for them, and they'll get kind of a little hint of how to do that. These are different attachments. If you wanted to add a specific link for them to go to and look at, you can do that. And that's what that is. A topic status, this is when you want it to appear, or if you want to just hide it. So if you want to have them specifically plan all of them at once and say this one's actually for next week Monday, you can do that. And it says schedule from now to never, meaning it's never going to disappear. But if you wanted it to disappear and only last for a week, you can kind of control the timeline in which Flipgrid exists as far as the actual video topic. Okay, now here are more video features that you can actually change up for your students. If you wanted your students to have all those fun different selfie options, like the filters I use, the kind of paint button that I use, all the stickers, you can have that if you want. I can add none if I wanted, and they wouldn't be able to do that. I can do just videos only, where they can just record video only and have none of the extra features. I can allow them to add video titles. If you're thinking about your younger students and you're thinking that might be one step too much, is to add a title, you can turn that off. If you want to see the view count, like how many students have watched it, so you can keep them accountable for looking at all each other's videos, you can keep that on, or you can turn it off if you think it becomes a popularity contest. You can add sticky notes. This is often very helpful for the older students. I find that if you add sticky notes on, they can actually turn that on, start typing kind of what they want to say, and it helps with their discussion. So you can keep that on if you want. Video editing, that's kind of what I showed you before. They can arrange and move the clips around if they want to. They can attach their own helpful links if they want, from Google Docs to OneNote. Most likely it'll be Google Docs. And then the likes. You can allow them to like each other's video if you want. I usually have that off, but if you incorporate that well, it could be a good thing. And then this one's important as well. If you want students to respond to each other, you can turn this on, and then they can kind of respond to each other, especially if you embed that in. You say, please watch 2 other students' video responses and respond to them, and only watch a video where there's no one that's watched it so far or responded. So that's something that can be really powerful, that like peer-to-peer discussion. And then feedback, of course. If they want feedback, if you want feedback or anything like that, you can leave that on. And those are kind of your more options that you can add to your topic. I'm done. I'm happy with this topic. I can just click create right here at the bottom. And then it's going to create a specific topic link. Before I had my grid topic link, but now I have my specific topic. So that topic has this code on it that you can share with students. So if you say, go to the 914A41DD, they can go to that specific code and then type in their actual number to get in, and then they can actually go to that grid. I've not made this grid available yet, so the students can't see it. But once they are able to see it, and they either have access to my grid or this topic, then this is what they would see. Again, I think I need to make it available. Sorry. Active. Okay, update topic. And here we go. Once they get in, they log in. This is kind of what they would see. We just read a book. What was your favorite part? Useful sentences. I can have the Flipgrid read it to them if I want. So there's another kind of accessibility feature. So again, there's this little kind of book with just a little sound volume icon. If I click on that, Flipgrid will actually read it.
We just read a book. What was your favorite part? Use full sentences.
So it has a lot of different elements to it that can benefit a lot of different students who learn differently. Of course, my video that I added asks the question as well.
We just read Amazing Book 5. What did you think of it? What was your favorite part? Please use full sentences.
And then the students are ready to go as far as engaging in the actual topic. And again, it's just a green button that they click on, and they go through the recording process, and it'll appear right in that topic. Any questions about Flipgrid so far? It seems pretty simple to use, especially if you go in and play around with it. Jessica, did you have a question real quick? Okay, so that is kind of how you set up your own grid. It's very easy. You kind of go through the process. Flipgrid, though, has added a few extra features that are very helpful to teachers. This is, I'm going to explain right now just from my grid. I'm going to start from there first. And you can, since Flipgrid is free, it's unlocked all the unlimited features and whatnot, you can have as many grids as you want that house as many topics as you want. And then up at the top, there are some things that are going to make using Flipgrid even more enticing. This is the mixtapes feature. If I click on that, this is going to allow you to add a mixtape, and it is what it sounds like. When you add a mixtape, you give all the different titles that you want. And then what you do is you can start adding student videos to your mixtape and then show this to your students to watch. So here, I'm going to start adding from my recent videos. And I can add just all my favorite responses to this actual mixtape grid. And so say I really liked Tammy's response. I click on Tammy's response, and then I can just add it to that mixtape. And now she's a part of that mixtape. And I can share this with my students for them to watch. Say, here are some really great responses that I want you to watch from my students in the past. Go ahead and view this mixtape. And again, I would share that code with them, Bowie 00775, or link it to Google Classroom, whatever I want, and then they can access it really easy. One thing that I kind of missed and failed to mention was there's an option for a QR code as well. So if you click on that QR code, you can download it or copy it and then send it in email to parents or students or whatever you want, and they can join that grid that way as well. Any questions about mixtapes? Okay. Now what we have extra, you might want to take advantage of this in the future when classes get back to normal, but you have Grid Pals. This is a chance for you to connect to other teachers or experts around the United States and around the world. You have the option to kind of check them out as far as where they are and kind of connect with that class and then do like a pen pal type thing. So here, Becca, I can connect with her. She has a Vox as her form of contact. And then you can kind of set up an exchange if you want to do like a classroom discussion, classroom to classroom type thing. So that, and that way they kind of give you the option to connect with other educators in other classes. And it might be fun for you to connect with people outside the country, like second graders in Spain or something like that. So it's a good chance for them to like expand their worldview and talk to other students. Any questions about Grid Pals? Okay, the next one is the Disco Library. Now, this sounds awesome. It's because it is awesome. The Disco Library is great. So it has so many topics and whatnot that teachers have uploaded. They have playlists that teachers have uploaded, and these topics are available for you to click on, kind of view. So I see that Brittany here has uploaded a nice discussion that has to do with matter. The stimuli, the learning resource, is a YouTube video, and then in the response, she wants students to learn about discuss what they learned about matter, what they found interesting, and something they still have questions on. And what you need, all you need to do if you want this actual topic, you want this actual discussion topic in your grid is you go to select a grid, and I can click on Mr. Bowie 6th grade and add it right to my grid. And now I can start editing it. And if I want to specifically add in my own information, I can. And all I would need to do after I'm done is click update. And this will exist right in my grid now. So this is here right in my grid, ready to go. The code is 678101CE. And all I need to do is log in. This one's the older one, so I could just, if students were to log in with their Google account, they could go right to this specific topic, watch the stimuli that's added, and then respond like they normally would. So again, Disco Library, awesome, awesome name, awesome place to get lots of different resources. Does anyone have questions about the Disco Library? Okay, this next one is a new feature. It's called Shorts. So not as awesome of a name, but still one of the most awesome features in there. So I'll click on Shorts, and what Shorts really is just a recording of you. And I can kind of show you if by just clicking on a record a short button, and it's going to access my camera. I can just start recording. Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of distance learning. This week we're going to focus on central idea and citing evidence. And I have a lot of different Flipgrid topics for you, but I also want you to read chapter 5 that I put in your Google Classroom. And then we're going to discuss a little bit more, and you're going to do a diorama of chapter 5, including what you've learned and what you disagreed with. And of course, I've got to change the filter, and I'm going to choose super cool because it's super cool short and video I want to share with them. And I'll click next. Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of distance learning. This week we're going to focus on central, and then of course it's a video I want. Again, super cool. And there we go. The short is ready to go. And this video, all you have to do is to share it out, is copy this link, and they can just watch it. All you have to do is put it in the Google Classroom, and it's just a video they can watch. Again, very easy to share this video with your students or parents or anything like that. You can download the video if you want and put it into your drive. And there are a couple other ways to share it as well. But again, super easy to integrate into Google. I can click on that classroom icon, and if my computer doesn't explode, it will show you how to add it again, but it's going to explode right now, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, Shorts is super great. And that's one way where you can connect to your students, make announcement videos, welcome videos, and whatnot. But there's something else that's hidden in there that's very new you might be excited about as well. And all these videos are 10-minute limit, but you most likely don't need more than 10 minutes. I'm going to click on Record a Short. And there are 3 buttons right here. It's the video option button. And of course, I've always got to change it to super cool because I'm trying to be super cool. But there are 3 buttons that you click on. It's called the Jelly Bean menu, or more specifically for Flipgrid's video options. If you click on it, you can, of course, have the option to record with audio or add a video clip. But there's something called screen recording, and this is kind of something they've been working on. It's in beta, meaning they're still working out the kinks, but for the most part, you can still use it. If you click on screen recording, it's going to allow you to actually capture what's on your screen. So you can walk students through websites if you've sent them a specific website and whatnot. So I'm just going to pretend to walk them through Flipgrid. So I'm going to start recording right now. And when I click on that, I have option to choose between 2 different screens because I have 2 screens up. Most likely you'll just have 1. You've got the application window, meaning just the specific window, or the Chrome tab, or if you want a specific Chrome tab. I'm going to choose my entire screen. I'm going to choose this screen right here and start sharing it. And it's going to give me a countdown, 3, 2, 1. It's recording now, so I'm going to go to Flipgrid and walk them through it. Okay, today, class, we have in Mr. Bowie's 6th grade class, there's a big question here. It's what is matter? I want you to read the prompt, and that's important. You need to read the prompt. There's a learning resource for you, so you're going to have to go through that learning resource real quick. It's linked right here in this discussion. please answer the questions fully and completely with full sentences. You're only going to have 1 minute and 30 seconds, so you have to be short and concise. And once you're ready, click that green button and start recording. And always remember to use the super cool filter because it'll make you look awesome. All right. And then all I have to do to stop that recording is click stop recording.
It's recording now, so I'm going to go to Flipgrid and walk them through it. Okay, today, class, we have in Mr. Boo's 6th grade class, there's a big question here.
And of course, you're not going to have to watch the whole thing. But once you're done, you go through all the regular processes of, you know, that you would have to do for Flipgrid. And then once it's ready to go, it's going to load. And again, it might take a little longer if it's a longer video, but it's still pretty quickly, considering that your signal's going to space. But my computer does sound like it's exploding right now, so it's taking longer than usual. But keep in mind, I'm trying to filibuster, so when it's done. Okay, there we go. So now it's done. It's ready to go. Ready for you to view if you want. You can copy that link and send it to your students, or you can put it on social media for some reason. It's good to view. You can view it anywhere. You can use this QR code. And of course, you have all those different ways to share it, and the lovely Google Classroom button that will go right to Google Classroom. It'll look really good and whatnot. But that is the newest feature for Flipgrid, and it's awesome. But yeah, that's kind of Flipgrid in a nutshell. You do have a lot of different options up at the top right that you can explore kind of in your own time, like your profile picture and settings and whatnot. But that's kind of Flipgrid in a nutshell, and kind of Flipgrid as a tool that is one of the most important tools of the last few years, and now seems to be even more important. Any questions or comments in regards to Flipgrid?
Is there an easy way to make these videos available to parents?
Yeah, so as far as the code goes, you can have, when their students log in, they can show their parents. For shorts, you can email it to parents. If you have a Google site that you kind of use as your class site where you share things with your parents, the videos will go right into Google Sites. So you can click on this little embed code, and you can put this video right on a Google site, or you can just share a link easily with them, and they can click on it. So it's as easy as whatever you have set up in terms of sharing information with parents. Does that answer your question, Michelle? I don't know if it did.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Grid and kind of see if it's correct. Just let me know. I've no problem going into Flipgrid and kind of participating in some of your discussions just to help you kind of test it out. But yeah, it's an awesome tool that is completely free, and I used in my classroom, and since there's an element of video, there are students who actually participated that I'd never heard before, as far as an actual discussion. Like I'd get a full few sentence where I wouldn't have gotten it at all if I actually talked to them face to face. For some reason, that recording, that added extra like level of them being able to like watch themselves and get it right, quote unquote, kind of help them respond and give them a voice. But yeah, Flipgrid is great. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask myself. I'll stick around for a little while if you want to ask me questions. If you don't have any questions, it will really help me out if you do that survey. Some of you have it in a new tab, but if you got here a little late, please feel free to do that survey. Put in your email, your name, what you learned from today, what you'd like to learn, if it's something more about Flipgrid, if it's something more about another video tool, please put that in there. It kind of helps us shape our webinars. And of course, select Flipgrid, so I know you attended today's Flipgrid session and whatnot. But if you don't have any questions, thanks for coming today, and have a nice day. Hopefully I'll see you in a future webinar, and we'll have just as great of a time. Yeah. Yep, you're welcome. Again, email me or ask real quick if you have a question.